Khaliis take. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe. Also the notification bell so you can get the newest content first. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, I said before the Clippers have to, be aware of falling into traps that can get them in situations they don't need to be in. Now, I've said before the Clippers sometimes plays down to their competition, and playing down to your competition can get you beat at any point in time in this league. And, when you look at this past game, for the Clippers against the Indiana Pacers, it was a bad look because, first of all, the Clippers were trailing, I believe, 13 to 14 points in that game, and they finally made a comeback. Between Kawhi and PG, they definitely put their imprint on the game, and they made a comeback, and they got the lead in the fourth quarter, I believe, of that game. But regardless of getting the lead, they couldn't finish it. They couldn't sustain it. And the point I'm trying to make is that I've been saying for a while about the Clippers. When you play down to your competition, a lot of times that comes back to bite you times two, because when you play against superior teams or better teams than Indiana, who's actually playing pretty decent right now. I think they won 5 out of their last 6 games. But when you play down to your competition and you don't play, at your best against any and every opponent, it comes back to hurt you in regards to chemistry and in regards to executing plays at a high level when it's really needed against, better teams and, bigger situations. Of course, bigger situations would be the playoffs, and of course, better teams would be, teams at the top of the charts or top of the seedings, maybe even the Pelicans or, somebody like that when you're playing against better teams. And that's the thing with the Clippers. The Clippers tend to, turn it up a notch when they play better competition, and they turn it down when they play against lower competition, which is very, very, concerning for the Clippers because, as I said, you can't just turn a switch on and off no matter how many good players you have on a team or no matter how much, talent you got on the team. You can't turn it on and off. You have to be consistent with it. And if you're not consistent, it always comes back to bite you when you're not. So the Clippers going to have to be more consistent on defense. You can't let a team like Indiana run up down the floor on you. You have a championship level team. You have a championship defense. You got 2 of the best wing players in the game. Arguably the best duo in the game when both are healthy on the floor. They dropped a few of these last games here that I feel like they should have won. The Philadelphia game, they were up by 20. Was it last week? They should have won that. I feel like they definitely should have won this one. This is a game they let slip away, even though Indiana played very well. Tyrese Halliburton is really showing the NBA world that he could be a problem if he has some talent around him. He's a good passer. He has good IQ and all that. But at the same time, you're the Clippers. You got way better. Players on your team. You're supposed to have a better coach, and on top of that, you got 2 better players on the floor. And then one, Paul George, went for 45 points, and that's my thing. You get 45 points from Paul George, and you get 25 points from Kawhi Leonard. There's no reason why you should lose that game. You got 60 plus points, with 2 of your main guys. So it's really no need to lose that game because it should be, in your hands because you got both your players on the floor. And Clippers are clearly a better team than Indiana. They just weren't better that night. And like I said, lagging, missing assignments on defense, not talking on defense the way they should. And as I said, sometimes the Clippers, what they do when Kawhi is back on the floor and when Kawhi and PG is there, a lot of the role players tend to lag. They tend to play, lackadaisical basketball on both ends of the floor, taking threes, taking excessive threes when they don't really need to. Not really spacing with the ball the way they're supposed to. And, the ball gets like stagnant with the Clippers at times. It's not like enough free fall ball movement with them that makes makes them a deadly systematic type team where you can't, deal with their offense. Their offense is kind of vanilla sometimes because it's all isolation, or they're just going to jack up threes until either they continuously make them, or they're going to jack up threes until they shoot themselves out of a game sometime. And that's just the way it is with the Clippers. And as I said before, that's something that they have to correct, because if you keep doing that against better competition, you're going to find yourself losing a lot of games that you should win. And this right here is another statement loss for the Clippers, because it's a regular season game against Indiana, but it's still a game that they should win with both Kawhi and PG on the floor. You should not lose a game like this with both of your players on the floor, because you just have a better team overall. And like I said, you're supposed to have a better coach, and you're supposed to have better everything than a team like Indiana, but you find yourself trailing the whole game just about when you don't need to be. And you pretty much have, Paul George playing at a really elite level this game, and you couldn't come out with a victory 130 to 131. And see, that's not good. Now, going forward, they play the Miami Heat, tonight or whatever, so they're going to have to, pick up a lot of things. Miami Heat play well on defense. They talk well on defense, and, they're a gritty team. And, when you face gritty teams, they come at you with a different type of scheme than teams like Indiana, who's just fighting for their lives every single night, But the Miami Heat is a certified team in the East, and, that's not a team nobody, will sleep on. So, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero coming off the bench. I mean, they got some weapons. So, and plus, like I said, they're very well coached by Eric Spoelstra. So, when you play a team like this, you got to be more on your toes on both ends of the floor. And I hope that the Clippers can find a way to do that, because if you can't, you'll find yourself losing games, like as I said, that you shouldn't lose, and, losing against teams that you should beat. And if you want to be a championship team, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And you got to go in every night and play with the level of the mentality that you're the better team, and we're a championship team, and we're going to represent the West when it's all said and done. And the Clippers right now, they're not showing much of that. But I always say, time is on their side, but eventually time is not going to be on your side. You're going to have to string together some games, show some dominance, because if you want to be a championship team, there has to be a level of dominance about you that other teams don't have. And they're going to have to start showing soon. Not these games where, Kawhi and PG have awesome games and they come out on losing end, and there's no way they should have. So, the Clippers defense is going to have to get a lot better. You can't give up 131 to Indiana. You got to give up maybe like 108 to Indiana while you score about 120. And you have to be, like I said, you got to be a lot more concise on offense, of maybe spreading the ball a lot more, finding more wide open shots or more efficient shots, and just be more dominant on the rebounds, of course, as well, because Miles Turner really killed the Clippers, and I think that's something that Bam might have an advantage too going into tonight's game. So the Clippers are going to have to be better there. So I want to see a lot better competitiveness from the Clippers. I want to see them come out and get a victory, tonight against the Miami Heat. I'm going to pick that game. I'm going to say 119 to 111, Clippers, and let's see what happens, because they're going to really have to start making up for some of the issues that we've been seeing with them lately. And starting tonight's game, well, hopefully that'll fix some things, because I haven't been very impressed with what I've seen. But hopefully the Clippers will build this cohesion. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely gonna have to come a lot sooner, because that Western Conference is tough, and you can't lose with so many games before you're actually into that playing tournament section of the seeding. So the Clippers are gonna have to keep afloat, and get more, like I said, get more sound on both ends of the floor, because just because they got all the pieces in the world on the team, it doesn't mean nothing unless you put it all together on display. So I'm gonna need to see more from the Clippers going forward, and if we do, then we'll see a lot bigger or a lot better package, of what they have combined all together, rather than just individually, guys having good games and winning off of talent. They're gonna have to start winning off of that cohesion, and the only way for that to start happening is to really figure out their stride and figure out their identity. And to figure out their identity, they're going to have to be a lot more sound on both ends of the floor, and they're going to have to be a lot more consistent in doing so. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check them other videos if you haven't. And hey, till next time.